It's another wonderful evening, and we are really happy that we've got wonderful gentlemen. One of them is a speaker from Mong'are County, and another one is a wonderful gentleman from down the coast, Mr. Kevin. And we are really bringing them over here through OVC so that they can tell the world exactly what they are doing on the ground, especially at the county government level. We promulgated the 2010 Constitution in 2010, and we created the county government. And through that, we've seen tremendous growth down at the grassroots. And now these gentlemen are going to expound a little bit more on how the county governments have really tried their level best to develop the countryside. So let me usher in Mr. Kevin Kamau and Honorable Joshua Mutuma. Gentlemen, welcome to KDRTV.
Thank you very much, Engineer.
Thank you so much. So we are welcoming you to KDRTV News. KDRTV News is a world-class media organization touching base on, located in the US, but we've got branches in other East African countries, and specifically where our mother country Kenya is. So we are starting the interview right now, and feel welcome. Bring your people on board so that we can have deliberations on how we can improve our country, Kenya. Thank you so much. So before we start the interview, I would love you to introduce yourself. So 1 minute each. So let's start with Honorable Johnson Mutuma. Honorable Johnson Mutuma, please, can you introduce yourself to the KDRTV media viewers?
Very well, thank you, Engineer. Just missed my name a little bit. My name is Johnson Mukuha. I am the second speaker to the 3rd County Assembly of Mong'are, and I'm glad to be here. I had never served in the government before, but I am here now from the private sector direct into the state job. I have, landed properly in the job, and our objectives are, to serve the people of Mong'are, and this we have done diligently. We have been able to assist the governor. At the county assembly, our work is oversight, our work is legislation, and our work is representation. So this we've done with precision to assist the executive that is led by the governor, and out of it, I think it's in history now that we have scooped a few awards. Best performing county in Kenya, 2 years in a row.
Thank you so much. So let's go directly to Brother Kevin from Kilifi County.
Thank you very much, Engineer. Rightly said, my name is Charles Kamau. I'm privileged to be serving as the Director of Strategic Partnerships, Private Sector Engagements, and Development Sector Relations in the County Government of Kilifi within the Executive Office of the Governor. I work across all the departments and the divisions to try and connect ambition to opportunity, vision to where the investments are, and also trying to link people with the systems that work. I sit at a very sweet spot where at the intersection of where government is, where business is, and where innovation is thriving, and trying to help unlock the full potential of Kilifi as a rising hub on the Kenyan coast and in the blue economy space. My work is centered around one thing: building catalytic partnerships that move counties and communities forward, from just being intentional about it, but also to creating impact. So I'm very happy to be here, and also looking forward to the conversation, Engineer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother, for introduction. So let's go straight to the interview questions. The first question comes to my brother, Honorable Johnson Mukuha. I believe now I've pronounced the name well. Thank you so much.
Precisely.
Thank you. So how can county governments and private sector and other stakeholders collaborate to create a more conducive environment for entrepreneurship and strategic growth?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for that question. I think the very first thing is to position our country Kenya in relationship to the world. And many have been saying that Kenya could be the Middle East, of Africa. Needless to say, it's not very far from Dubai. We have seen the successes in Dubai. When you come to East Africa, then the strategic position of Kenya, being the strongest economy in the region, positions us as the best, for any investor to come in and just leverage what we have. Now, I think your question directly is asking how we can partner with a private sector. Let me tell you, I think there is no other way. There is no other way. When you see the exchequer releases from the government, there is normally a very huge wage bill. If I zero in to Murang'a, out of the exchequer release every month, 50%, almost 55% of that money goes to wages. So it becomes very difficult for the county government to do all the developments that it would want to do. In this regard, it is very important that the private sector plays in partners with the government so that we can, quicken the development that we would have, simply because the monies are not enough. We cannot probably start reducing the wage bill as at now because of other laws that I will explain later. But the best party is where you get partners and get into ways of collaborating, either through what we call BOTs, build, operate, transfer, or what we call PPPs, private partnership, so that then we can move and work on. If I pick a private sector like KTDA, the Kenya Tea Development Authority, in itself, on its own, it has a turnover in Murang'a of almost 17 billion Kenya shillings, as opposed to what the county government gets. So you see, we have to leverage and work with them so that we quicken this development. If we rely on exchequer, then it becomes difficult. Now, how do we collaborate with them? I think the very first thing is to make a conducive working environment, and investor-friendly laws. In the county assembly, I think we have taken that seriously, and that culminated to what we were calling, the first ever Murang'a Investment Conference, to try and pick out those investors, bring them into the country, partner with us, and quicken the development of the country.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my brother. So if there is any, because my brother Kevin is basically, or is a professional on partnerships, so do you have something to chime in on what Honorable Johnson has said?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I want to agree with my colleague from Murang'a is that the painting is very clear. We cannot work in silos. We have to start working in systems. And when you look at the devolved, the devolution as it is, we need to start appreciating the subnational levels as instruments that are also going to help us to deliver for the people of the country. We need to start seeing the county governments as enablers of local growth, economic growth at the grassroots, not just as gatekeepers. We need to start seeing, and I like what Mheshimiwa started by saying, when the government provides infrastructure, policy clarity, and even that facilitation, how best to work with the private sector is that the private sector will bring in capital, it will bring in ideas, and that is when transformation happens. And I think, just last year, and I know I'm going to touch on it much later, when we did our investment conference, there was a lot of co-creation with the private sector, including the One Voice Consortium, which I'm sure you're going to mention at some point. And this is what we're talking about. So it's not an option anymore, whether it's not a question of how can we work with the private sector. It is, we have to work with the private sector. We have to co-create. We have to do that. In Kilifi County, we made strides to actually even now independently create an office that is specifically looking keenly at the needs of the private sector, at the needs of the development sector, and the needs of the innovators, so that we can jointly be able to co-create the solutions. So I think, rightly, as my colleague has said, it is now time to stop working in silos and create systems that can outlive and be able to outlive leadership, but also be able to deliver for the people of Kenya from the grassroots level.
Thank you so much, Brother Kevin, on that approach on how we can, as a country, the diaspora, the emerging trends, the innovators can actually bring a lot of changes in our country, and especially at the county level. So let's go directly to get some insights from our brother, the Speaker of Murang'a County, Honorable Johnson Mukuha. We have known, we have seen, you know, some other times we can be politicking, but sometimes when we see things actually happen on the ground, we say surely something is happening on the ground. And this one, from the diaspora's perspective and from some of my friends who told me, if you are going to interview someone from Murang'a County, tell Governor Irungu Kang'ata, thank you for leading the way. So, what are the emerging opportunities for startups and innovations and the key challenges for them today, and how can these be overcome to foster a resilience and ultimate growth in our county government? Honorable Mukuha.
Very well. I think you see, the opportunities that we have, you know, innovations and whatever, are endless, especially when you come to Murang'a. I think it's an issue of how you position what you have. What we have realized in Murang'a is that we are land rich, number one. Second thing is that we realize that we are not very far from the, you know, main ports, you know, the airport, you know, the rail passes through Murang'a. And this, as I speak this, I think it goes to the entire country. Our biggest resource in Murang'a is that we are land rich, and we are also able to incorporate other people. How do we use this land to make sure that we convert it into something that can add value to our people? Number one, we want to make sure that our people get, you know, we alleviate poverty. Like you have said, our governor is working very well and has been ranked number one, you know, most of the times. But when we see the poverty levels within us, then what we say is that our heart bleeds for others. If this is the scale where you say we are number one, then it's not a good scale. I mean, you could be the cleverest fool in a class of fools, you're the clever one. So what we have said is that for us to move out is that we must position and package our county in a way that is easy for any investor to come in. And the startup opportunities are there in forms of many other areas. For instance, our products, we are an agricultural county, and our product, especially like avocado, we are the biggest producer of avocado in Kenya. But we sell the fruit, we don't sell a finished product. So the innovations, as I will tell you when we discuss about the investment conference and the purpose of it, is that the startup areas are quite huge and spread is as much as you can think. I'll go into details to that after, but like we are saying, is to position, showcase the county and present it to the world in a way that people would come in. Like I said, any investor who want to come in for any startup or whatever, they would want an environment that is okay. I'll talk later of something we are calling development authority, trying to delink some of these bureaucracies from government to make it easy for anyone who comes and set up some. So I'll take you later on what the conference was all about and the actual opportunities that you would get in our county and in the country.
So before I leave you, Mheshimiwa, there are things I need you to, first of all, clarify before I let you go. How did you guys manage in 2 years' time to have a serious stride in development? You did have squabbles in the county assembly. The CECs were running up and down to ensure the governor's manifesto is achieved. How did you manage to do these ones while we are hearing so many squabbles across the country, Mheshimiwa?
Yeah, let me start by telling you that people make choices and people select.
Choices have consequences.
Yeah, the people of Murang'a are fairly educated. And for that reason, they are able, historically, they have been able to, select and elect their leaders quite with a lot of precision. I can name names like, Kenneth Matiba, I can John Mishuki, Dr. Kiano. They have always, the people say, elected the right people all through. And they have repeated this time again. They have selected and elected a very able governor who has been able to get the right people to do the job. I lead an assembly of 47 members of the county assembly, 35 elected, 12 nominated. And I will tell you, engineer, is that people chose the right people. Out of that 47, member assembly, I have 75% are university graduates. And out of those, 50% are master degree holders. So we are objective. Our work is to legislate, make laws. Our work is to oversight. And our work is to represent. So when we are oversighting, because we do that, we don't have to fight. I keep saying there is no county assembly without wrangles. We just, keep them in-house, we keep them in the boardroom, and we sort ourselves in there. So objectively, the governor would probably want to do something, but we would sit down, in our committees, criticize properly, but criticize with solutions. And that is where we are now. It starts with the people making the right choices, electing the right leaders, and then the leaders doing what they were sent to do, to go and serve the people. I think in a nutshell, I can say, and we are not competing about ranking. We will never rank, we are fighting with the poverty. And that is what that took us into the jobs that we have now.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for that wonderful answer. We'll be pumping more questions to your end, but relax so that you can tell the world exactly what you are doing there, because you are a wonderful example to the community back in Kenya, and the diaspora also is watching. So let's go directly again to another question here. And this question comes to my brother Kevin Kamau. In what ways can diaspora community plug in and become involved in these business and industrial sectors or ventures that can provide more sustainable livelihoods? Brother Kevin.
Thank you. Engineer, I have to say you did your homework very well in selecting the counties that you're going to feature here, because as Mheshimiwa said, they were the top ranked. The governor was number one. My governor was number 8. But overall, as the most improved county, Kilifi County took the number 1. We moved 22 spaces up. So, previously at number 35, we moved 22 spaces to be number 13. So, like I said, you did your homework very well to bring, part of the. But just to, pick up from where Mheshimiwa has left it at. One of the things that I wanted to say, especially if you look at and I want to connect the question that you had asked, Mheshimiwa, so that I can also now bring in how the diaspora plugs in. There are quite a number of opportunities right there, and I'm hoping that the youths are listening, in climate-smart agriculture. We have a lot around renewable energy. Kilifi County enjoys sunshine throughout the year. So things around renewable energy, what have we done around that? We have now dedicatively set aside a whole division that is going to be handling energy. In the past and in the previous government, energy has been bungled up under urban development. And right now, we are now at the verge of making it a fully fledged division with a whole team of officers. Because when you talk about the renewable energy, then you're putting we're putting our resources in terms of investing them where we do know the opportunities lie. Things around the marine economy, the blue economy. Kilifi County enjoys 265 kilometers of open seas. These are some of the opportunities that we are looking at. Marine economy, digital health. Where do we lie in all that? And of course, the circular economy, so that we can do a lot of recycling in there. But even as we look at this, one of the things that we want to call upon the diaspora to plug in will be for them to come in as investors, for them to come in as co-founders, for them to come in as mentors, and for them to come in as market linkers, people who can be able to say, I think whatever I've seen here in this developed world, they can happen even back home. And we do not really, we're not asking everyone to move back home. What we are asking people to do is to move with us forward. So if we have diaspora dedicated investment desks, which Kilifi County does, if we have land banks for development, like what OVC through maybe Royal Tulia, they have set aside a 1 billion project in Malindi, setting up retirement homes, and we're now making it easy. And like Mheshimiwa said, we're also land rich, so we're also thinking about sustainable agriculture, sustainable real estate, what is happening within food processing. Tourism for us is a huge thing. Kilifi County recently launched a tourism product that we're calling the Kenyan Riviera, which is it encompasses everything that can be done along the coast. We normally say in Kilifi County is the only place where you can have breakfast by the beach, you have lunch deep in the Tsavo for a game drive, then come back quickly for dinner back at the beach. So these are some of the things that we're now packaging as sustainable tourism. And we see a lot of opportunity. We see a lot of opportunity for groupings, even wellness tourism. That's the other thing that we're also pushing, because with all this nice climate all year round, there's a lot of health benefits that come out of it. I normally giving people practical examples that my folks who come from more of the central region and the Rift region, they normally come here when it's cold over there, just for them to enjoy the sunny weather, and they go back and they're neither coughing or their arthritis has gone down. So these are some of the things that we're saying we can be able to build together, co-create together around food processing, real estate that is sustainable, tourism, which is wellness or groupings, and also the digital services. So when we have the diaspora people coming in into the country and the counties as well, would be excited to have them as market linkers as well.
Thank you so much, my brother, for that wonderful question. But I'm not leaving you yet. I need you to have specifics now. Tell us exactly if you've created laws, you've got bylaws, which is helping the diaspora, because most diaspora have come down there. Unfortunately, when they buy land, when they start a business, things actually go haywire. And now the diaspora, people from diaspora keep on fighting day and night to ensure their investment is actually in place. So do you have bylaws ensuring that when the diaspora comes to invest, their investment is actually safe? And on top of that, which key areas do you really want the diaspora to invest on, which you have really listed as, you are a specialist, so we really want to hear exactly the snippets on how the diaspora can really invest, because most people are watching right now really want, the diaspora has money, but the problem, they fear investing, especially in our country, because of what the bureaucracy and the corruption down there. Go ahead, my brother.
Absolutely. Thank you, engineer. And I think in between, I mentioned the One Voice Consortium and the fact that they are setting up a 1 billion real estate project in Malindi, which is called the Royal Tulia Villas. And this is after they had come scouted all over, and then they came, and some of the policies that we have in place, I'll just mention the policies that we have in place are friendly enough, and we walk with you through the journey. One of the things that we've now set up is a one-stop shop. We are quickly now actualizing it to have a one-stop shop where we tell you all the licenses that you need for real estate are here. This is where you get them. All the approvals, you get them through this channel. So one-stop shop where if you're given a package and you're told 21 days, then 21 days it is. One of the other things that we've just done is also we are now in the formation, and we're just now about to announce the new board members of the inaugural Kilifi County Investment and Development Corporation. And this is a special purpose vehicle specifically to guide on policy and frameworks that are going, so that if we go back to if anything needs to change within the framework, then they can guide that engagement, from an assembly level and from an executive level. The other thing that we've done as Kilifi County government is that we have earmarked 3,000 acres as special economic zone. And these 3,000 acres, we are setting them aside and saying, we are ring-fencing this land for you to come and put up your industry, for you to come and put up your assembly plants. And these are the incentives. The good thing that we are enjoying, and this is also enshrined within the Kenyan laws, is that we have the liberty to do a lot of incentives, whether it is tax relief, whether it is repayment holidays, for up to a certain number of years, whether it's putting up infrastructure, and we are really looking forward to open that special economic zone. The other thing that we're also trying to do, and this is where the diaspora also comes in, even as we set up all these industries that are going to support that sort of economic growth, we also want a lot of support for the youth training. So because we have 42 vocational training colleges, we are offering some of these colleges, we are offering some of these centers as centers of excellence. And so if someone is listening and they're in the education sector and they would want to partner with the county government of Kilifi and sort of set up one center as a center of excellence that can either do plumbing to the best quality that it can do to support the kind of industries that we're bringing, whether it's something around because these are some of the skills that we need. One of the other things that we've done is that we have leapfrogged, knowing very well that we want to run a digital government. We leapfrogged by partnering with the Powerland project, training 350 young people from Kilifi County. And these 350 people, we have already absorbed 50 of them within the county government of Kilifi, so they can be able to try and start digitizing some of the processes that we have within the county. And so these are some of the practical things that the government has tried to adjust. These are some of the practical things that the government has given leeway to. And that is the reason why we are confident enough, engineer, to even come out and say, we are open for conversation, we are open for co-creation.
Thank you so much for that wonderful answer, my brother. I could have given you another 2 minutes, but because of time, we'll have another discussion with you another time or another day. Yeah, thank you so much. So let's go directly again to Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa, you have a lot to chew with the diaspora, and I believe the diaspora should come to Murang'a and visit you first before they go down to Coast, so that they can at least enjoy your hospitality. So one of the key questions which the diaspora need to understand, Mheshimiwa, is what are the takeaways from the recent Murang'a County Investment Conference, and how is the appetite for local or diaspora or foreign investors are you seeing from the conference which you actually held in your county? Go ahead, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you very much. I think the appetite is rich. Let me start by saying I told you that when we got into office, among the things we realized is that Murang'a is land rich. And the way to convert land into, opportunity is to plan it. So when we got into the office, and the very first thing we did was to come up with a law, which we called Murang'a Lands Allotment and Leases Committee Act of 2023. And the purpose of this was to delink the processes, the management of land from the division within the executive. So this particular committee that was created by that act, its work was to go around Murang'a, identify all the lands that we have there, and plan it. And what we did is, after doing that, then we pitched and brought in the investment conference. The purpose of this conference was, one, is to showcase Murang'a and what it has, for the world. Murang'a is an agricultural county, number one. And then, you see, what my brother said is exactly what we almost doing in Moranga. Number one, we take advantage for the fact that we are actually not very far from the city center. I mean, around 30 minutes drive from city center. We also have a lion's share of the Thika superhighway, almost 30 kilometers from Thika all the way to Sagana. And by that, you take advantage and you plan your land. Among the things we did is that we had a whopping 1,500 acres of land touching that Thika superhighway. And we had to design and plan it. So we designed in a way that we bring in industrialization. What we realized is that for us to grow, needless to say, we know many countries in the world grew faster or they became rich because of going into manufacturing and value addition. And through that supply chain, we are able to create opportunities to very, very many people. I said before that Murang'a is number one in terms of production of avocado, 150,000 metric ton a year. You know, our tea in itself, we had 17.8 billion, you know, in terms of, market share within Murang'a. Again, we have coffee. But the biggest problem is that our coffee is sold, you know, it is value added elsewhere and sold back to us, maybe 10 times the cost of what we do. So the purpose of the conference was to showcase what we have in Murang'a, and our aim is to reduce poverty, create jobs. And the best way to do that, like I said, in the entire world, the only best way to do is go industrialization way. So we have set up that land among many other to make sure that we have come up with, with investor-friendly policies. Well, my brother talks about the one-stop shop. I think that's exactly what we want to do in Murang'a. You know, we are setting up facilitation, in a place where you don't have to go all around the county looking for approval, this approval, the other approval. We are also designating and making sure that you get rapid approvals for your licensing and whatever you want. We have also partnered with the national government, and this, is good to listen. We've partnered with the local government. Out of the 1,500, 200 is set aside, 500 is given to EPZ, the Export Processing Zone, and the other 800, we are partnering with the government to put in what we call SEZA, Special Economic Zones. The purpose of Special Economic Zone is that it will help people. This act was started by Kibaki government and it was actualized by Uhuru government. So when you are in a SEZA zone or a Special Economic Zone, then you get so many incentives, including tax breaks, tax reliefs. So many. Some of the things like electricity is capped. We all know that manufacturing, the biggest impediment is the cost of electricity. So in such areas, in a SEZA, as is a Special Economic Zone, the electricity is capped at 10 shillings per kilowatt hour. That is quite a lot, quite big. You asked about securities and how people, are sure that their money is their investments are secure. One is that we are politicians, and in Kenya we serve for 5 years, not knowing what goes up thereafter. So the best way to do it is make sure that you have legislation that can outlive us, and this you have gone down to put it, across. In that particular land where we are saying we have around 800 acres of SEZA, I just want to tell you that we have also planned it so that you come up with a city or a borough that talks about live, work, and play. You live there, you work there, and you have leisure there. So we have demarcated the land very well, 75 acres of it into what we are calling a Medicity. What we are saying is that you are an investor and you are in that industry. We have land for you. Should you want to come and do a cancer care center, bring it closer to people, we have land we can set up for you. Should you want to do a pediatric center, should you want to do an orthopedic, name it, we have that for you. We have made it possible that, and we said our work here is to industrialize. So then we have set 276 acres only for industrialization. My brother talks about innovations and youth. We have set a whopping 23 acres for what we are calling innovation hubs, for these young people to come and innovate. We have set another 10 acres for stadium to make sure that we live, work, and play, like I said. We have a market. We have, bus station. Somebody asked me, how can bus station be an investment opportunity? It can be. When you do the earthworks, you value add, you do the facilities, the toilets, we can allow you to levy and recoup your money back. We have schools. We have housing, the affordable housing. By yesterday, the affordable housing had started there. We have infrastructure that is required there, which is colossal, will require colossal amount of money. So how are we intending to do that? Because the government cannot do it. We are making it an opportunity to that investor through probably a PPP. If you want to come in, you can come in, do the roads, electricity, name it, sewer, fiber optic cables, come and do that infrastructure because we want this area to be serviced. And then we can allow you to levy through a PPP, just like we've done on many other projects. So the list is endless, engineer. It's as much as you can dream. Remember, this is only one area I'm talking about, 1,500 acres. We have quite a lot. And you asked if there was appetite. I can tell you there was appetite, serious appetite. I think the success of this particular day was beyond, our thinking. We had a whopping 3,000 registered people who came in. We had, exhibitors exceeding, we even didn't have enough more space for exhibitors. We had around 600 exhibitors. And we have people expressing, expression of interest, almost 300 expression of interest on that particular 2 days, until we were saying, should this thing go for a month or something? So the appetite is there, the requisite development is there. Like it's good to note that Murang'a is fairly developed in terms of infrastructure. That heavy infrastructure is there. You will take a road all the way to as far as a place called Kanyanyaine in the mountains there. You use tarmac to go there. So that heavy infrastructure is there. We are investor friendly and we are investor ready. The laws are there. The land is there, demarcated and planned properly. Well, it's just plug and play now, and we hit the road running.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. I know I can give you more time to speak, but because of time, I also told my other brother, my brother Kevin, that please, let's try to summarize but your word is sweet music to our ears. And it's not only music, but this is things we have seen and we've heard. And a few months ago, I don't want to say which county came to do some benchmarking in your county. I know. Let's leave it there.
It is not Kilifi for sure.
That is perfectly okay. But we'll reach there because we need to exchange ideas. That is all we need. Yeah, we need to exchange ideas and then see how we can develop as a country, because that is all we need right now. Thousands or millions of youths have no jobs. And the way Murang'a is doing right now might create more jobs so that these youths actually cannot be on the streets rioting or making a lot of noise on the street there. This is one good way of doing stuff. So before I leave you, before I ask you another question, go ahead, Mheshimiwa. Yes.
Maybe I forgot to just, you are talking about youth and employment.
Yes.
When we decided to go the industrialization way, the manufacturing way, is the rationale that my brother was talking about. Within 1 acre, if you were to do a home, then you would create maybe the house manager and a watchman's job. But within that 1 acre, you do an industry, you can create job for 100 people. That is why we are saying we must use our land to help our people within the highest, best use, ways of doing it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. We'll still come back to that one so that you can elaborate a little bit more. So as a consultant in partnerships and creation of jobs, especially in the private sector and the county government, my brother Charles, tell us exactly how the Kenya community diaspora can mentor or train your people, especially in education system, to be improved better, equip young innovators with skills needed for business and industry. And nowadays it's not really a must for youths to go out or for people to go out in benchmarking. They can use platforms like in KDRTVs for them to see how you can train them. They can use even YouTube. So tell us exactly how you would love the diaspora to mentor your people down in Kilifi. Or in Kenya, not only in Kilifi, sorry.
Yeah, thank you for that. Before I just jump onto that, I want to say that one of the things that Moranga and Kilifi have in common is that we visit each other quite often. And even during our investment conference in December, one of the participants or one of the dignitaries that came in is His Excellency Monania, the Deputy Governor, to just cross-share and see some of that. And that was not the first time. He also did come when we were graduating the cohort that I talked about the 350. Like you're saying, there's so much we can learn internally, from each other. And I want to tie that into now, how do we as counties view the diaspora in terms of what are they going to help us, on training and mentorship, and where does that risk, where does that bring in terms of risk of level of risk? Progress is being made. That I have to say, but that's not enough. We, just looking internally within Kilifi County government, just looking at the number of people who have shown interest from the diaspora to either cold call, my office and say, Charles, I've seen that you've been able to do X, Y, Z. Oh, please guide me on this. Just that cold call showing that is really showing us that, progress is being made. Strategic, ventures like this ones, like for us showing, participating in the KDRTV, also gives us that, also shows us that there's a lot of progress that is being made. And even traveling, even traveling abroad to other countries and telling people, I am from Kilifi, this is what we are doing, this is where the opportunities are. There's a lot of that which there is that sort of hunger to try and bring in as much as we can that we can do training and mentorship. But that's not enough. We need more diaspora-led mentorship. We are calling on for more virtual accelerator programs. Those are some of the things that we would want to think about, opening our doors to. We need things around cross-linking industry and county-supported skills lab for very, very, specific skills. When you think about, so for example, in Kilifi, given that we are part of the blue economy, we would want to see a skills collaborating with someone from the diaspora, or even a company that is doing that employs seafarers, for example, for the cruise ships. If we're able to develop such skills, such mentorship, so that we concentrate them in, we sort of concentrate them in a center that is a center of excellence, try and make sure that they are getting into the highest standards, and then we try and make sure that, even the people who are employing them are employing people who have the skills. But if we export all that labor without building local systems, we risk again brain drain. And therefore, we must evolve to train here locally, and that's why we would want a sweet spot where the diaspora and the local and the counties to work together. We want to create value chains, locally. My brother Mheshimiwa has talked about the fact that they grow coffee, but then the value is added somewhere else. Then by the time it comes here, it's 10 times the cost. We want to do a lot of value chains in agro-processing. We are privileged as Kilifi County to be invited by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa as one of the two subnational speakers in Addis Ababa earlier on in the year. The other one was Oyo State in Nigeria. And one of the things that we were bringing out there is the value of value chains. So that if we had, and this is not only unique to Kilifi County, this is cuts across the board. And this is where the sweet spot is coming in again for the diaspora. So where we can be able to do a lot of cross linkages and cross training and mentorship from the local level, so that we add as much value on our coconut, on our cashew nuts, on our macadamia, on our sisal, on our mangoes, on our watermelons before it actually leaves the county. Because what that means is that within that value chain, we have created so many jobs, we have built the capacity of the community, and therefore, inadvertently, we have grown the economy. And I think even just thinking about that value chain in itself has its own impact, even if it's you're not just using it as a buzzword. The other thing is that once we create those value chains, we then have the opportunity of linking them globally, for the global markets, for people in the diaspora who already have markets for some of these things. I know there's a conversation that we are having, one of the investors in the diaspora who wants to do industrial starch in Kilifi County. And these are some of the things, because they have already seen this need in the diaspora. Now, the opportunity here lies where we can be able to create that value and export it. And that's how we retain our best minds while we are expanding these opportunities that we have.
Thank you so much for that wonderful answer, my brother, and may God bless you for that wonderful job you are doing down there. What I also would like to know from you is that when I was in Kilifi sometimes back in the early 90s, we used to eat, how did you call it, the cashew nuts. Is the cashew nut industry operational right now, or we are still having a problem? Because after, in the mid-90s to early 2000s, the plants stopped working. So is it still working, or if it's not working, what's the plans from the Kilifi and the national government to ensure that at least we have the cashew nuts? Because to tell you the truth, my brother, I go to the supermarket here, the cashew nut, like half a kilogram, I buy it like 5,000 Kenya shillings, just half a kilogram, 5,000 Kenya shillings. Yeah. Go ahead, my brother.
Rightly said, and I think this is one of the things that is very, very close to the leadership of Kilifi County government, led by His Excellency Gideon Mong'are, is to take Kilifi back to the days when, as he recalls and as he makes us understand, you used to just walk around here and the smell of korosho. I think the word that you're looking for is korosho.
Yes, I'm quite Swahili, sorry.
Extremely, it was extremely inviting. And there's quite a number of steps, huge steps that have been made. There are quite a number of letters of intent that have already been signed to develop, to revive this, this particular economy. But there's still another sweet spot for anyone who wants to be part of the revival of the cashew nut industry, and even the other nuts, within the ones that grow at the coast. So there are quite a number of practical steps that we are making with through PPPs and BOTs, build, operate, and transfer.
Thank you so much.
So we're on
go ahead. Finish your comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying we are on that path. We are restoring that glory.
Okay, I'm on track, and I want to ask you very specific questions right now, my brother. Have you left the youths behind? And if not, what exactly have you done to ensure the youths are progressing and ensuring at least they make a livelihood out of what the county government is doing, rather than just giving them jobs? Go ahead, my brother. I'm talking about Kevin, my brother Kevin. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll give three practical examples. I mentioned one when we realized that we have the dividend and the youths are quite a number, and we partnered with Powerland Project to train 500. We started off with a cohort of 500. It's a 16-week globally acknowledged and accredited program. It's done online, and then you come out as as a digital skills and software developer. And we graduated 350. We are now in the final steps of embodying the second cohort of about 700. What are we doing? We're trying to create a critical mass of people who we are able to take up jobs, not only those that are offered by the county, but those that are also offered globally. We have quite a number of them who are working remotely. We have quite a number of them who are working at home, and we are happy about this. Second thing that we've done is that we've set aside. We have now increased and are now working. When His Excellency the Governor took over, we increased the amount of money that we can give to groupings and the youth to 1 billion shillings, and we're working with 2 financial institutions to make sure that these monies are available to especially women and the young people. And one of the things that we've done with that is, if, for example, we give out a tender for Kilifi County, and a youth is able to come with that tender and apply for the Wezesha Fund, they're able to service that particular tender with money from Wezesha Fund. The third thing that we are doing is working very closely with the Kilifi Innovation Hub. And through the Kilifi Innovation, just the other day, I joined Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Flora Mbeta, for the World Oceans Day at the Pingo Beach. And you can see the amount of regenerative fashion that the youths are doing. So we've been able to work with pockets of innovators, pockets of youth that are doing tremendous things and supporting them. And it is our intention, it is intentional for us not to only program for them, but to program with them. That is the only way we can be able to be sensitive to their needs. That's the only way we can be able to meet their needs at the point where they need them. And that's the only way we can be able to, to spur economic growth that outgrows leadership, like my brother had mentioned earlier on, in terms of creating policies that actually outgrow leadership, but is sustainable in a way that that makes economic sense.
Thank you so much, my brother, for that wonderful answer. Let's now go back to Murang'a County. My brother, Honorable Johnson, tell us exactly how you have empowered the youths. I've not heard of currently the youths of Murang'a making a lot of noise on the road, because from behind the scenes, I heard you guys told the youths, let's wait for 2027 for politics. Right now, let's work. So tell us exactly how you have engaged the youths and the youths are out of the streets.
Thank you very much, Engineer. I think you are very right. I mean, we must put that clear distinction between politics and work, and we should not politic all the time in the expense of work. So in Murang'a, we have what we call Murang'a Youth Service. And if I take you back, those days of Nyayo era, we used to have the National Youth Service. Every young person who finished from 6 before they went to university, they went through that program. That program was a situation where all these people are congregated in one area and they are trained there. It becomes very expensive to sustain that. So what Murang'a has done through our Murang'a Youth Service is to go to where the youth are, deal with them where they are. So in our program, we are able to engage them, in various jobs. For a period of like 3 months, we employ them in every ward, give them work for 3 months. Thereafter, take them to training, basic courses, carpentry, hairdressing, name it. We graduate them, and after graduating them, we, of course, certified by NITA. After graduating them, we give them seed capital, little money, go and start up something. And I can tell you of success stories of very young, these young people come, work for us, assist us clean our cities, assist us, direct, help us within all areas that we would want. Probably we want some order somewhere, we want, some registration somewhere. We use these young people. And after that, then they are able to go into a training. We give them seed capital. What they have done is they have collected. We might not be able to give them money as seed capital. They collect themselves. So 20, 30 guys and start up something. I have success stories of young men now very busy, with their shops open, in terms of hairdressers, in terms of car wash areas. So name it. We are able to engage them that way, other than let them loose. Like I said, if you collect them and bring them in one area, it becomes very difficult because it is an expensive affair. You will have to, house them, feed them, it becomes a whole logistical nightmare. But if you go to where they are, like you're saying, we engage them there, assist them with little jobs we have, and of course now like, train them and give them seed capital. The challenges we have is that the resources are limited. The resources we have are limited, and therefore we cannot do a lot. We cannot help all of them. So which way do we go? We are training them, through, especially when we did that conference, to come in and see the need, since we have learned the need for them getting into agriculture. The biggest problem with our agriculture goes down because there is no that technology. There is no value in the farming. But as we speak now, very many young people are going back to tea farming. They're going back to coffee farming because that bush that gave 10 kilos, 20 kilos, now with, agriculture, we are more out of that. So in a nutshell, that is what Mong'are is doing, engaging them with jobs, but also encouraging them to go into agriculture because we have, like I said, we are land rich. So that then we can keep them busy and they will not be in the streets all the time.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Before you leave, because of time, we have only like 5-6 minutes. Before you leave, what is the advice can you give to our upcoming youthful population and our government too, and how can they feel more inclined to steer the country to a greater height?
What we need to understand is that our youth are educated. I think in terms of technology, they are educated. We have, spent money to educate them, but we are not, giving them good policies that can allow them, self-employ themselves. So my advice is that you start from the scratches, because I've seen our youth would want to drive that Bentley, they would want to drive that Range Rover, overnight. Mm-hmm. We think them Google screensavers, is a G-Wagon and such like things, noting that it becomes very difficult to get that if you do not work hard. I keep telling young people, I tell them that I am an architect for 23 years. I started from the scratches and I keep scratching. So even the youth, my parting shot and advice is, even if you have that education, you have to get out, you must dirty your hands. You must start from scratches and you must keep scratching, because sometimes, it's like furnishing a fire. You have to keep scratching, keep working, and of course, embracing the innovations that we have in the world. Noting that now the world is a village because of technology. I have seen very many people making quite a lot of money online, doing online jobs. So I would advise them in a nutshell, start from scratches and keep scratching.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. What about you, my brother Kevin?
I think for me, I'll speak because I'm still a youth. I consider myself still a youth. But one of the things I'll say is, I have. You have to keep scratching. But I think one of the things is that we are no longer the future leaders. We are the leaders of today. We have to start. We are not too young to build. We have to start now. And the continent is ours to shape. The counties are yours to shape. The country is for yours, for yours to shape. When you look at, and one of the other things that I would like to also urge fellow young people is the value of volunteerism. One of the things that got me to very early stages is the value of volunteerism. Most young people these days don't want to volunteer. They just want to be employed and get a big salary, at the very, very onset. But I think that there's a lot of value in volunteerism, because as you're doing that, you're gaining skills. You're gaining skills in leadership. You're gaining skills in people. You're also gaining skills in interpersonal and even in management. To governments is also it's a chance to create room for the youth to lead. It's, not just to follow where you're going. And that's what I said for Kilifi County. We are very privileged to have said that we do not want to program for the youth, we want to program with the youth. It's so that we can create ecosystem, not just an event where you're saying, oh, let's do this for the youth, flag them off, let them go for sports. Let us know whether they think that is something that is an ecosystem that they want for it to deliver for them. And to the both of us, both the youth and the government, it's time to believe that the time is, it's not just coming, it's already here for us to push on to that real engineer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Because of time, let's just answer, please, one question here. What are the major challenges facing agriculture and the value chains today? Not specifically in Kenya, but let's start from Kenya and then let's expand it to Africa. Mheshimiwa.
Your question again?
I'm saying, what is the major challenge facing agriculture and the value chains today? Let's start from Kenya and then let's progressively take it to Africa as a continent. The value chain, yeah.
Very well. I think the biggest, according to me and according to what we have seen in our county, I think the biggest problem starts from farming. What we say in Kenya, in Kikuyu, is that the one who plants is not the one who eats, which is a wrong thing. You should plant and eat. Number one, it starts from the planting. I mean, what seeds are you using? Are they certified? Are you getting value for your piece of land? Are you getting value, like I said about coffee? If you do not have the right, technology, you don't have the right, skills to do it. If you are not guided properly, then you realize that it will be frustrating for you to develop that crop. A bush that would give you 50 kilos without the right advices from agroeconomists, you do not get value for it. That becomes a big problem. However, it as it may be, fine, you have it, you have the fruit. But like we said and my brother said, when you sell the fruit, well, when you sell coffee as it is the black bean, and it is value added, and it is brought back to you again. So it becomes a problem. The biggest, we are in agreement that we must, value add our product so that then we can create jobs and we can, get our people from poverty. Now, the biggest challenges are, like we had said, where are these investors who are coming to do that? Is it deliberate that probably the investors would not want to come in so that then they can value add from elsewhere and bring it back? And I think it is time, because that's quite a big problem. Kilifi have been same like Boranga, positioning our county investor friendly for this, industries to come so that then we can value add. The biggest problem, to answer your question, direct engineer, is the seed capital and the will to come and do it. And what we don't do properly is we don't showcase, we don't give out opportunities of what we have in our counties. That is the essence of the investor conference. That is the essence of what my brother said. We need to go out there, tell people. I had a team that we visited Washington State the other day. There was a team of my deputy governor, His Excellency Munania, that visited Boston. I was in New York. I was in Washington State. We need to showcase the world that we are ready for that. And like my brother said, we need to bring friendly. We have to have investor-friendly policies and securities that will work and make sure that we get out of this mess that we are in. The greatest challenge is the seed capital and how we need probably to showcase, to package our counties and probably sell them or get it out for people to know.
Thank you so much. I see my brother Kevin scratching himself. I know he wants to answer that question, but if you answer that particular question, there is one preposition here, or there is one challenge we really need to tackle as a country or as county governments. You guys, I wish you could be in the national government so that you can leverage and see how our country can actually move forward. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. The diaspora has actually said that if it were possible, I'm saying it because that's not my word. I'm basically just saying exactly what the diaspora is talking about. They want Irungo Kangata to be the president. That is all. I'm sorry for that. How can we,
engineer?
Yes. Wait, I know
sorry,
you. I know. This is about politics. This is about diaspora. The way the diaspora wants to say it, please let them say it. The diaspora also have their say, but that is okay. Let me put you on track. I know, Mheshimiwa, you will answer. Or let me give a minute to respond to that.
No. I just wanted to tell you sometimes, there are no superstars in government, and sometimes performing is a crime. Eh?
Yes.
So let it be as that. For now, we have been given work to do the counting. Let's deal with the counting.
Okay, let's leave it at that. That's a topic for another day. So, Mheshimiwa, my brother Kevin, and Mheshimiwa Mukuha, in America, to import products, there are so many laws barring our products actually to come over here. And thank God, at least now we have got one rep, a Kenyan rep, Kenyan born, but an American rep at the state capitol in Minneapolis, St. Paul. We are trying our level best to ensure that our products can also come to this particular place. But it's your job as county government, guys, for you to come over here, look at what the American government or the state governments want for you to bring products to America. We see products coming from Asia. We see products coming from India. We see products coming from China. But for Kenya or for Africa, it's really a very big problem. So it's your challenge for you guys to come over here and see exactly what these guys want or the American want, so that the products can actually come here. It's really very pathetic for us to see avocado rot, coffee beans. You've done a wonderful job of marketing them to Asian countries, but in the American market, what we basically see here is it was made in Kenya, but rebranded in America. So it's completely American, but it's Kenyan. So you as a government or county government, what are you guys doing to ensure that your products are exported to other countries with stringent measures in exportation or importation conditions? Let's start with Kevin. Kevin.
Thank you. Let me just jump in and from where my brother left it at, and some of the major challenges. And one of the things that I just wanted to agree with is the issue of fragmented markets, because even within Kenya itself, we have a lot of fragmented markets. There is no reason why Murang'a should not be using coconut oil made in Kilifi, and there is no reason why Kilifi County should not be using coffee that has been processed and value added right from Murang'a. And it is, but you see that is a challenge, but therein lies an opportunity, and this is why we are having these conversations here. And where we're talking about having aggregation platforms, how are we dealing with digital marketplaces, how are we dealing with contract farming models that can unlock value. If we see that this is the consumption of edible oil or oil in Murang'a, why can't we just do contract farming that we have added value here, then give it to Murang'a? Same thing. So if that model works locally, then that is the same model that we just pick it up and then go straight with it to Washington, to the DC, to the UK, to Australia, to every part, to that, because that fragmented market, and then putting it within the African continent. There's a lot of push. I just mentioned our involvement with the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa earlier on in the year, where we were having discussions that were being led by the African Continental Free Trade Area. They're still grappling with the same, the fragmented market. How do we bring everyone together? With Oyo State, we had been invited together with Oyo State, and we're now working on a sweet spot of twinning the city of Oyo State and Kilifi County. They are a bit more interior. They are not so close to the coast, but we are close to the coast. So what is it that they are doing so well that we can start leveraging on the African Continental Free Trade Area? Sometimes we even think about the diaspora as people who are from outside the continent. But sometimes even if you just think from within and create values or create models that work, replication is as easy as saying this policy has worked here, and and it can also it work somewhere else. And I want Mheshimiwa to jump in because he's the one who sits at the center of making policies, and agree with me that if we are able to show localized models that can work, getting into the global markets is by a click of a finger.
Go ahead, Mheshimiwa.
Yeah, let me say, now to address what you're saying, which is a trade imbalance. I think number one is proper treaties, government to government treaties, and that purely lies in the national government. Nevertheless, I think what we need to understand is that in every country there are what we call standards. When you go to China, they'll have different manufacturing, standards. In Kenya here we have what we call Kenya Bureau of Standards. In America, definitely there are standards that they would want, us to follow. These issues of export and standards purely work at zones we call the export processing zones. I told you in Murang'a we have set up 500 acres for that particular work. And we know the Athi River export processing zone that, when you are there, you can now do qualities of the requirements from that mother country where you're going to take that product. I think it starts from the policy, engineer, just to go directly to it. The policy and the treaties government to government treaties on the conditionalities that are required. I think that needs to be addressed, keenly. And the number two is we need to set the standards correct. You see, if, for instance, we have the Kakuzi PLC. Kakuzi PLC does agricultural products and they sell them worldwide. They are actually listed in the London Stock Exchange. They are in Murang'a. What they do is that they have complied with the entire standards of the countries they export. And they have traceability. They are able to, any issue, the packaging all the way to a shop in London, then there is an issue. They are able to trace it back to the, bush that they collected that product, so that then they can follow up on what we are calling the standard. So two issues, very critical. Number one is the policy and the treaties that government to government must, address. And number two, then we must do the standards through our export processing zones.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Thank you so much, Brother Charles Kevin. We have come to the end of our interview, but before I let you go, I would love you to have a 1 minute wrap-up or your closing remarks so that we can call it a day. But this is not the end of everything. We've just started the conversation. We'll continue the conversation so that our people can get the development they deserve. So let's start from Mr. Charles. Go ahead, my brother.
Thank you all for listening. I think today was a good start and a conviction that the subnational levels of government are working, and the counties are ready to create as enough space as possible to make sure that the diaspora, like I said earlier, we don't just want you to move back to your country. We want you to also move forward with us, even as we continue programming for the people of Kenya. So we are open for business. Ours is a declaration, and we will co-create and co-design as we work together. Thank you.
Same to Mheshimiwa. Mheshimiwa, go ahead, please. Your closing remarks.
Yes, I think Murang'a is a place to be. I think anyone who wants to, like I said, is a place to be. We are strategically located. We have proximity to key markets. We have developed infrastructure. We have very open governance. We have investor-friendly policies. We need labor. We have entrepreneurship spirit. If you know, engineer, the billionaires of Kenya come from Murang'a. We have availability of land, and then of course we would want to support. So Murang'a is a place to be. We are ready for investors to come in. We partner with them, and it is simple. If you log in now to www.murang'a.go.ke, I think you'll get all this information that have been put here. Needless to say that we do not think that we are the best in everything. We normally ask for advice. And in his wisdom, the governor of Murang'a created what we call Murang'a Budget and Economic Council. That he set up men who have done it, who are entrepreneurs, educationists. That particular team is led by the known Equity Bank founder, Peter Mong'are, and we have many other people who sit in that panel, including SK Macharia, including many big brains that we have in the country. So Murang'a is a place to be. I think 1 hour is, to me, very short to expound Murang'a. I'm looking forward for another time where we can now demystify further, area by area. Thank you very much.
I appreciate your time, my brothers, Brother Charles, Mheshimiwa Johnson Mkuha, for your wonderful time. So till next time, may God bless you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.